Hello, welcome back to welcome. Thanks for joining us for the 23rd annual Garden State Film Festival. My name is Mike Cassidy. I will be your host this evening, and tonight I have the pleasure of interviewing the folks from Good Enough. How's it going, guys? Thanks for joining me tonight.
Hello.
Thank you.
If you guys could just go and say introduce yourselves and let us know how you're involved with this film.
Yeah, I can start. I'm Sabrina Geffner. I'm the writer-director of the film.
I'm Hayden Klein. I was the director of photography.
I'm Jack Tomlinson, and I play Peter Fanning in the movie.
Great, that's all. I got it. I had the pleasure of seeing your guys' film today, and it really stuck with me. So I wanted to know if any of you guys could give a brief description of what your film's about and what you intended to reach to people.
Yeah, I also thank you so much for watching, and that's really, really kind. So yeah, I mean, just to give a brief overview, the film Good Enough is a surreal drama about an insecure pianist who's really unable to let go of his mother's ashes. And he goes on a journey kind of speaking to an eccentric therapist to see if he can talk to his deceased mother and ask the main question of the movie is if he's ever good enough.
I actually could definitely relate to that message with your film because I actually lost my mother a few years ago, and I actually remember finding myself asking that exact question, like, can I have a conversation with her to tell her how I've been doing and everything. So it was a very special topic to me, and I was wondering, did that come from actual experience, or is this just something that you came up with?
So again, also I'm really sorry to hear that. I mean, I'm very lucky that I have not lost my mother or someone close to me in that regard. I will say this film was very personal to me in a different way because a lot of the themes of this film is about wondering if you were ever good enough and wondering if you ever got that approval from your family. And I do have, unfortunately, some very complicated family dynamics. And I've thought long and hard for many years. I wrote this script many years ago and sort of just kept building on it. And I really asked myself, what would I feel if, for example, my mother died? What would happen to me? And I think that was what made it personal.
That's incredible. Yeah, I honestly thought someone must have gone through what the main character Peter was going through to be able to tell that story. But Jack, how was it being Peter? What did you do to get into that pianist mentality?
For me, similar to you, Mike, so I empathize with you, and I as well. I'm sorry. I also lost my mother. Very close to this. This was actually the first audition I had after my mother had passed, and for a couple days I was like, I'm not doing this. It's too close to home. It's too awkward. The big thing for me was there's nowhere to hide. I couldn't, retreat into a character. There's a name on it. It's Peter, but he's also me, and that made it probably definitely the hardest thing I'd ever done. But it also, when I got to set, I kind of just started to look at it like it's the conversation between me and my mother doesn't just happen in between action and cut. I can kind of just spend the 5 days or 4 days we spent filming, just having this inner monologue, this dialogue with my mom constantly. And it was very difficult because I couldn't hide, but it was very fulfilling because I got to have these conversations that I wouldn't otherwise have gotten to have. So for that, it was very freeing. As far as the piano playing goes, that was something I found very exciting, actually, to get to do it. I didn't do it as much. We had a wonderful, wonderful score created. I'm blanking on who scored this. Sabrina, help me, save me.
Venya.
Yes, it was wonderful. But I did take a piano classes for a few weeks leading up to this, just so I could be confident sitting up at the piano, know the mechanics, and just believe myself there. It was the most I'd ever thrown myself into something, and I'm very happy with it, if I do say so myself.
Yeah, I thought you were incredible. I thought the woman that played your mother was incredible too. I could definitely relate to your dynamic a little bit. So, Hayden, what was it like being the director of photography? What does that entail for you?
It was really great. I mean, me and Sabrina have worked on a couple films together, and I think the great thing about our working dynamic is that we kind of share the same brain when it comes to shooting. Like a lot of the time when we have conversations, it's one or the other being like, I was thinking this, and the other person just saying, I agreed. I always thought that. And so coming into this, you know, when we had that initial meeting and she mentioned it was surreal, and I was like, well, we just need to turn this up to 10. Like we need to keep this, you know, a beautiful film, but also we need to play on the undertones of the film, and we want there to be this level of magic to it that you feel. And so working on that, it was one of the most intense pre-shooting work I'd ever done, you know, breaking down the shot list and lighting plans and everything like that, because while 4 or 5 days seems like a long time, it was moving very quickly. And we came in with just so much pre-work that we were able to really make something just like you know, just like everybody else said, that we're really proud of, because we just worked so well together, and it just made something that felt really magical in and out.
I agree. I thought you guys nailed it. You guys seem like a dream team for filmmaking. How did you guys all meet and get this team together?
Yeah, sorry, I don't know if you want to go.
I think
Yeah, sorry. Basically, I had met Hayden through so I went to school of visual arts, and Hayden also went for a year, and I met him through like another film, and I was just so lucky to be able to meet him, and I realized he's such a cool person. He's so talented, and we just hit it off right away on another set, and I kind of was like, I really like to work with him. Hopefully he's free and would be interested. And I was just lucky that he was, and then now we've become friends and worked on many films together. He's really like a ride or die. And I mean, Jack, we've been so lucky. So my friend Maura Garnett is a fantastic casting director and very close friend. And we went through the process of casting just on Backstage, and it was so real when we saw Jack audition. Like, it was so clear that he was so perfect for this role, and then afterwards finding out how personal this would have been to him. And something that I don't know if you had mentioned before, but he originally was, yeah, he was like, I don't know if I can take this kind of role or audition for it. It's a little too personal. And I'm so glad that he was willing to do that, because he truly brought something that it feels very real. And I love working with him, and I hope I can work with him in the future.
Well, I can just repeat everything they both said. I adore you both. You have both been, please don't tell anyone else this, because I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. You have been my favorite DP and my favorite director to work with. There would be times I'd be like filming and I would just be like staring at the ground like, this is terrible. You're terrible. And I would just look over at Hayden and I would go, Hayden. And I would just go like this or this. And he would just give me a little thumbs up, and I'd be like, okay, we're good. You're good. You can get out of your head. It was just from across the board, especially with Sabrina and Hayden, I'd never felt so safe with a group of people I'd never known, minus meeting Sabrina and Mara, everybody else I met on day one. And I was fortunate enough to actually celebrate my birthday on set, and they made me a cake. They didn't know me through, like, prior to this, I'm just like some guy who's saying some words on camera. That's all I am to most people on a set. But they made me a cake, and I was like, this is just so, oh man, it's so rich. That's just such a perfect word for it. And I think that it was everyone else made it easy for me. So if anything was good from my end, it's because everybody else made me feel safe and secure, and that it was okay to fail if I did fail. And that's a really big thing for me, at least.
Hayden,
Yeah.
anything to add? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, to piggyback off of that, you know, filming can be very rewarding, but also very stressful, because you're spending a lot of money and you're very backed up on time, and you have all these locations and you have this schedule that you need to keep to. And so Sabrina does a really good job of surrounding herself with people that are so good at their job, but also very trustworthy and just great friends. And so it makes the set and the time really speed by, because you have these amazing actors that are so good at what they do, but they're so great to be around and make you so comfortable. And you have all these people on set that you can trust to do what you need to do. And you know, everything's getting done perfectly, and you're still having a great time, and you still feel comfortable, which is something that, you know, sometimes in like real deal sets, it kind of feels like you don't have. And so, yeah, it's great to meet all these people and to stay friends with them, and to just have a set that you know, work came out of that you appreciate so much, but also you enjoyed the time so much.
This all sounds so amazing. I'm wondering, were any of you guys bummed out when filming was over? Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
Totally.
But is this your first time working with the Garden State or applying for the Garden State Film Festival, or have you been with us before?
No, this is the first time. I had a couple of friends who have been selected into the Garden State Film Festival last year, so I heard about it. It seems like a really great festival, so I wanted to apply as well, and I'm really glad I did.
We are too. Yeah, absolutely. Jack, my last question for you, I should ask it before, but when you were working in this role, did you find it therapeutic in any way?
I did, but what I found the most, I guess, therapeutic was the time in between the takes. Kind of when you hear action and you kind of just go, and it either happens or it doesn't, whatever happens. But it was like these moments where I was able to just sit with myself. Like there's the scene at the end where Peter's playing at the piano, reading the script and thinking about it on my own time. I just knew, to me at least, this was it. If this doesn't happen, I didn't do my job right. And I knew I needed to take a little bit of time. And this is Sabrina just being amazing. I asked her, like, hey, could I take that time before? And could I not, like, sometimes you come in and you block it and you worry about lights and you're a stand-in. And I said, I hate asking this because I don't want to be that guy, but can I just have a minute? And Sabrina gave me more than a minute. And there was this moment, I'm just sitting upstairs on my own and I'm just going through this motion. And I'm just, again, talking with my mother. So in that moment, it was easy to then just kind of transfer into Peter talking to his mother, because Peter's relationship with his mother is very, very different than mine. So I can have a dialogue with my mother on my own, but if I try and have that dialogue when the camera's rolling, it won't translate as well, because the people are different and their experience is different, and their objective in this conversation with their mother is different. If I was to ask my mother if I was good enough, it would be for an entirely different reason than why Peter did. So the release that Peter gets in that piano scene specifically but it was Peter's release. That's a real actory thing to say, that I'm going from Jack into Peter, but it was, and at the same time, it was unexpected.
Awesome, incredible. Well, that brings us to the end of our interview. I wanted to thank you guys so much for your time and speaking with me. I hope to see. Are you guys going to be at the festival this year in person, or?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Well, definitely looking forward to seeing you guys. Come say hi. You can see Good Enough Saturday, March 29th. It is in block CT35, playing from 10:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Once again, thank you all so much for speaking with me, and I can't wait to see your movie on the big screen.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mike.
Have a good one, guys.
You too.